As your captain and friend, know that I respect you greatly, Chef. So this is why I'm telling you that in my 50 years of service this is the most smooth-brained idea I've ever heard. No, seriously, don't give me that look. You're asking to use the teleporter and go planet-side for what? Ingredients? You have the least amount of combat experience out of everyone on this crew. I'm sorry, Chef, you're just not built for this. What? It's for who? Huh, interesting. Very well. Just this once. I'll spread the word amongst the crew. We will stall the party as long as we can. Why don't you go to the kitchen and get some practice in before you go? Stay frosty, Chef.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the SGDA Summit. This is Student Games Showcase, Block F. I'm here with Planetary Delights. I'm Jason, the SGDA president.
I'm Magna, the marketing lead of SGDA. And if you want to introduce yourself real quick before you start playing.
Hi, I'm Victoria Eleanor Gonzalez, and I was the project manager for Planetary Delights.
Okay, awesome. So because I know you guys have a little intro for your game, so we can go through that first, and then we can start on the interview portion.
Sure thing.
As your captain and friend, know that I respect you greatly, Chef. So this is why I'm telling you that in my 50 years of service this is the most smooth-brained idea I've ever heard. No, seriously, don't give me that look. You're asking to use the teleporter and go planet-side for what? Ingredients? You have the least amount of combat experience out of everyone on this crew. The other day I saw you curl up into a ball after stubbing your toe. I'm sorry, Chef, you're just not built for this. What? It's for who? Huh, interesting. Very well. Just this once. I'll spread the word amongst the crew. We will stall the party as long as we can. Why don't you go to the kitchen and get some practice in before you go? Stay frosty, Chef.
So there we go.
Yeah, awesome. So, since you already kind of mentioned your role in development, I did want to ask where you're located currently as well, where you're calling from.
Currently, well, I am currently in Miami.
Awesome.
This is my hometown, but I go to school at UCF, which is located in Orlando.
Cool. Fellow Florida college student.
Fellow Florida man, hello.
Yeah. So I guess we can start off with how did this game get started and where did you get the idea from?
So this was our junior game development project, and the process of how we decided this route was pretty chaotic. Essentially, we had one piece of paper, and each team member wrote down what ideas they were interested in. And we essentially took our most favorite parts and combined that into Planetary Delights.
So I guess it was kind of more of like a, how do you say, Socratic seminar of ideas kind of turned into one game.
Yeah, you can say that. That's a lot more elegant than I feel like it went. But...
Awesome. So I guess, so since you mentioned that this was your junior development project, how long have you been working on this game?
Roughly, it was 8 weeks of work, probably a little more. It was our final project, so we spent the beginning of the semester kind of just learning more so the ropes, what kind of the plan was, and then we got this assignment, and our instructors basically told us, all right, go and make a game. And that's how we end up working on this project.
And so I guess since we're talking about production, so what did the production for Planetary Delights look like, and how did it affect you as a game developer?
So the production, it was a little kind of all over the place because this is kind of our first truly, like, as students, independent project, hands off from instructors. So a lot of it was kind of just learning our pipeline, learning what works and what doesn't work. And I guess that's sort of the part that really affected me as a game developer, because I had the opportunity to sort of make my own mistakes and have my own successes. Figuring out, oh, okay, this doesn't work, so how are we going to fix it? Or what are we going to do to, I guess, improve it?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, because I think especially since you said before that you were the project manager of this game, so I guess so you kind of have to kind of figure out how to manage everyone and fit it together.
I wore many hats during this project. I think we all did. I guess the difficult part is that since we're a small team, no one really had just one role. They kind of all had to really pitch in and really learn how to adapt.
Yeah, awesome. And then, so since you mentioned your team, how many team members were on this project?
Including me, 5.
Okay. Oh, so that's a pretty small team.
Yeah, it was pretty. If you see our itch page, we have our credits there. My team members were wonderful. I would have crashed and burned without them. And I'm so happy with what we ended up with. We all worked incredibly hard to make this work.
Yeah. And I guess another thing that we want to ask, especially since you kind of mentioned the difficulties of development, what was the most difficult part of development for this game in particular? So it could be like specific assets or in general, so yeah.
There a lot kind of happened as it does in games. It's hard to pinpoint what was the hardest exactly. But I think the process of actually game testing was the most tedious. We had our classmates thankfully be able to play through this and give us reviews as peers. And the most difficult part was saying, okay, that did not work at all. The enemies were way too aggressive. You can't jump. You can't. I guess it's sort of the trial and error that was the most difficult.
Yeah, I guess the kind of going through and trying to figure out how to fix each part as well.
An excellent example was these guys actually. They still don't look amazing. I was in charge of making organic assets, and when it got time to rig this, it just melted, and we have no clue why. This is actually a pretty big improvement to what it originally looked like.
I do kind of like how melted it looks. I feel like it just adds to it a bit more. But I understand the animating anything is so difficult.
Yeah.
Especially, did you have to make a new a custom rig for it or anything, or?
Yes and no. For this enemy, for example, yes, we ended up having to make a custom rig. And the worm we did also. But we tried to get away with what we could with Gizmo. And it's we used an auto rigger, but it only worked for bipedal characters.
Yeah.
And a chicken has bipedal-esque qualities, or a bird has bipedal-esque qualities, but is not bipedal. So in a way, we tried our best to cheat the system, but I think we kind of got away with it, really.
Yeah, I think it kind of adds to the alien aspect of the
Yeah,
characters as well.
it's not a bug; it's a feature.
All right. So we did have a question from our fellow officer Nicolette. Were they she says, I love all the detailed textures on the object and environment. Were they all like made by your team?
Yes. One of the project requirements was that everything be made by us. So
Awesome.
we made all of these assets. Particles are ours. Textures are ours. There is nothing in here that we did not make in some way.
It's sick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm about to finish the game. It's very short, so I can show you our wonderful credits that we are incredibly proud by, and is the pinnacle of our
excited.
endeavors.
Yay!
Yay.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Well, 10 out of 10 credits as well for a 10 out of 10 game.
That's the pinnacle of my career. Doesn't get any better than that. Everything else downhill from here.
Okay, I guess since we're coming up a little bit on time, we did want to ask before, what are the parts of the game that you're most proud of as part of your team?
I think, well, definitely as part of the team, what I'm personally most proud of, I guess, is the characters. That was really the bulk of my work. I was in charge of concept art, then modeling the characters, and then texturing the characters. And it's sort of, I guess, the most I've put into a project with such little members. And also I'm honestly just proud that we did it, period. It had its challenges, but I guess I kind of wouldn't have had it any other way.
Like it really paid off. I think it's a really fun game, and it also has like a lot of charm to it as well, which I think is like you can't. I guess how do you say you can't plan charm if that makes sense.
We definitely didn't.
I guess do you have any plans for the game's future development?
We I think are finished with development as far as it goes. It was a big chapter of our game development career as students, but at this point, we actually have to move on to our senior projects next semester, which is going to be, it's going to be basically this, but more everything.
Excited to see that. Please submit it if you can. We'll definitely love to see it, especially if you do end up working with the same team. So I guess since we're coming up a little bit on time, we have about like 3 minutes left before we have to move on. Do you have anything you wanted to shout out before we move on?
Shout out definitely to UCF. We literally would not have been able to do this without them. As kind of we said in our credits, our Professor Winfrey, for her guidance, for I guess kind of helping us every step of the way. My team members who put so many sleepless nights into this. My peers for testing our game, for pointing out what works and what didn't work. And I believe that's pretty much it. Oh, and of course, as we said in the credits, thank you for the communications building, for having Monster in their vending machines.
They have a Monster in their vending. Oh,
Yeah,
monster.
monster.
I thought it was like a monster. And I was like, is there an animal in the vending machine? I keep
Yeah.
forgetting monster's an actual drink.
Yeah, you heard it here. UCF has a monster in their vending machine.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much to Victoria for coming out. Or wait, your name is Victoria, right? I don't want to mess up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay, good. Sometimes I don't know. My brain is mush. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But thank you for Victoria for coming out here, showing us Planetary Delights. Obviously, excellent game. Go check it out on the. I believe it'll be up soon on our website, but check out their itch page. I believe it's linked in their Discord already. Yeah, and next up is Planetary Pursuits, which is totally not on purpose that these games
That
are
was
put in this.
completely great minds think alike. We didn't even choose the same block. We didn't even.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for coming out here.